Okay, next I'm going to talk about some apps. So I have a PowerPoint that I have taught from before, and it starts way off in the beginning. So I'm going to pare it down for you and just talk about some specific handwriting apps that I've used, that I've enjoyed, that I think are really good, have good features to them for the handwriting. So if you've got an early writer that's just starting doing tracing, we mentioned on Tuesday to do the app using a stylus. So you want something in the hand and tracing. There's a lot of apps out there that teach the proper letter sequence. One of those is called Letter School, Ready to Print, Dexteria Junior. So that's there's a Dexteria is a group of apps that were created by an occupational therapist, and so there's some for reversals as well. Little Matchups is a fun app. Writing on Sand. So if you can imagine, it's like you're actually practicing those letters, and it looks like sand, but it's not sand. So if you have a tactile, defensive child, that might be a fun one to start with. You can get the magnet letter apps and just push magnet letters and spell things, have them copy it on the paper. TV Teacher is another really good app that teaches rhythmic writing and little songs and sayings to help learn the writing process and the writing letter formations. And Write My Name's a fun one because you can actually type the student's name in there and have them trace their own name. As the student becomes a better writer, then we can look at actual handwriting apps like Zaner Blozer, Handwriting Without Tears. I like Ollie's Handwriting and Phonics because it has them tracing in lowercase, and they can also type in if they have vocabulary words. There's different types of sorting. There's an app called I Can Write 1 and I Can Write 2, and it allows you to put the sentence structure together. So let's, drag and drop and put the words in order, and then they can copy that, whatever that sentence is that they created on the app, they can copy it onto paper and practice their handwriting. There's a lot of fun Toca apps. So if you play with the Toca robots, Toca cooking, Toca whatever, T-O-C-A, fun games to play with, and then write about it, and then do something and write a sentence about it, and play the app and then write a sentence about it. So those are some different ideas with that. As you get up into more first and second grade, then if you're having those reversals, a couple I want to mention besides the Dexteria. There's one called Fixed Reversals. Word Wizard is a fun one as well. Letter Reflex is also specifically to help students with those reversal letters. There's an app that is meant for testing vision. It's called Visual Attention. I believe it's free, or there's a free part of it, a free version. And what I like about it is that you can mix in symbols with it and the letters, and they have to recognize the letters. And so if you're having trouble with reversals, then you want them to always recognize. You can ask for a new screen, like if you hit, you put up a screen and maybe it's U's and W's and nothing that's really challenging for your student. You hit it again, you can get a new screen, and it might be the B's and D's, or the M's and W's, or the M and N's. And so they have to visually scan and find the right letter and touch it, and scan and touch, scan. So it's teaching them that left to right scanning, that visual letter recognition, and it's just it's meant for visual testing, but it's a great app to practice on. Okay. When you are doing handwriting with apps, you can use play-based activities to increase pinch strength or letter formation, dragging and dropping and holding on to the pencil with a proper grasp. So if they're holding the stylus, that they're holding it correctly. That's a good one. There are out there that have a visual cue for where to start the letter, and so that can help them with learning the start points and letter memory. The more they practice, the more they will master the skill, especially with handwriting letter formations. Some of the apps have a video model, so it'll show you how the letter is supposed to be formed, and then the student can trace it in the same direction. So that's really good for the student that wants to work more independently, that they aren't just going in trying to remember, but they can see the model first and then they can replicate it. Some of them have specific pathways that if you fall outside of the pathway of the letter, it makes you start over. So that can be good or it can be frustrating. So that's something you want to test with your child as they're tracing that letter. If they're going outside the line too much, does it make them start over? Does it tell them that they didn't do it right? Does it, can they start from where they left off? So those are some things to think about. And as you're doing a particular app with a student, if they're getting frustrated about it, then try to identify what's frustrating them. Is it because they have to keep starting over? Well, then there is another app out there there's plenty of apps out there that do handwriting and letter tracing. So we would go back to the one that would not frustrate them and find one that, you know, let's do this one, 5 or 6 letters. Now let's go back, try that app again. Don't give up on it because we want them to be able to learn how to pencil control and where to start and where to stop. Okay, and then there's whiteboard apps. Just let them freehand draw. You know, there's apps out there that actually have the paper, handwriting paper background. Or you can use it as a photo. So if you put into an app or take a picture on your phone of a piece of handwriting paper or your LegiLines, and then you know how we mark up a photo and give somebody glasses and a mustache and we can write and scribble out their face. So same idea, now we have a picture of handwriting lines and the student can write on top of the device, actually write and practice their size letters. Okay, couple other apps I'm just going to mention real quick that I like. We're going to be running out of time here soon. So visual attention I mentioned. Find the letters. So you have to find the actual letter of the for letter recognition. Doodle Buddy is fun for doodling. Doodlecast, we talked I think yesterday with content about doing comic strips. So one's called Comics by You, that's C-O-M-I-X by the letter U. Make Beliefs is another comic strip app. Kidspiration, it gives them inspiration for writing. Story Starters, another one's called Write About. So I mentioned yesterday there were a lot of really nice apps that have photographs in them and it'll give you that picture prompt. There's also AAC apps. So AAC stands for Augmentative and Alternative Communication, and those are used oftentimes for students that need help with communicating, like they're nonverbal and they can communicate on the app. So those are fun to generate sentences, to pick pictures and put those pictures in a specific order, and then you can copy that sentence. Or after you copy it, then you can hit the button and make the device read it. So there's a lot of them that are free out there, so they're also very, very expensive. So when I recommend an AAC app, just buy a free version. All of these, most of them have a free version. Now for dyslexia, there are some spelling and keyboarding apps that you can do. Little Speller, Spellix with an X on the end, SightWords, Scramble, Spell Better, Mini Word. They can also play games like Word with Friends. And then there's some typing apps, Bubble Typing, Tap Typing, Typing Juniors, things like that. As they are doing their handwriting homework and papers, you can use a token or a reward app to help them chart, oh, I've done my first sentence, I get a token. I've done a second sentence, I get another token. I had 3 star words, I get 3 tokens. And you can make it like a reward chart. So we can also use the apps for rewards and tracking rewards to track how well they're doing with their handwriting. So some of those that I use are called the jar. The jar is one where you put your rewards in and then you shake and it comes out. So after we write a sentence, we can shake the jar and out comes a slip of paper that we've pre-typed in what the reward is, whether it's a break, it could be a gummy bear, it could be a movement break, it could be anything. So that's something that you make up. Reward chart, I earned that. Let's see. There's also job jar. So I mentioned the jar. There's job jar as well. And of course, you can always search for apps on Google, especially if you're Android. I am Apple apps. Most of what I've said are available on both. But if you're looking for apps, there's a lot of, instead of going into your app store and looking for an app, the better plan is to go onto these app search websites. So there's websites out there, like one is called otwithapps.com. You can go on there and you can find different apps for fine motor and writing and OT. Bridgingapps.org, Moms with Apps. There's one called App Crawler, CARAPPCRAWLR. There's also apps for children with special needs. So that's the letter A, the number 4, CWSN.com. App Shopper, Smart Apps for Kids. So lots of different app search engines and websites. If you go to these websites, you can look for apps and you'll get much better narrowing of apps that you can use for writing, for fine motor, for speech, for whatever you're working on. So